All right, guys. So this is part 2 for the trailer reaction for Sweet Baby Inc.'s conference with Kim Belair at the XOXO Festival. And like I said before earlier in the stream, XOXO Festival is probably like 90% women, considering the name. Let's do it. Here we go. Let's continue.
Like frivolity and, frankly, like dumb bullshit is actually a little soupçon of dehumanization. Because I would love to post a picture of my latte or my dogs without people going like, oh, I guess coffee is woke now. And hey, that dog is pretty gay. But
I mean, that dog does look pretty gay. That dog does look pretty gay. Listen, people are going to troll you, right? People are going to troll you because you tried to do something that was honestly pretty fucking terrible, which is why Gamergate 2.0 started in the first place. You guys are the originators of it. You guys are the ones that did it. You did it. You can't keep blaming other people. At some point, you're going to have to self-reflect and realize that was your fault. Nobody's saying you can't post your lattes. Nobody's saying you can't post your fucking dog. Nobody's saying you can't do any of this shit. You're the one that's saying you can't do it. And besides, what does it matter? Didn't you leave Twitter? Yeah, I thought so.
We weren't allowed. We are no longer allowed to be in the conversation without, what amounts to mass targeting. Look at him up there. And don't get me wrong. People did defend us. Some very, very great folks, like often writers, game devs, people who he had worked with, people he had not worked with, who could see this thing for what it was. But while I appreciated the defense and the team appreciated it so much, that support is still really hard to feel in the panic of the moment. And so instead, I felt really guilty. I felt responsible. Like I felt bad, not for doing the job that I love, but for building a space that was meant to be protective and creative for a bunch of people and having it turn into something that, through no fault of our own, saw my friends and my loved ones and my colleagues and my coworkers just viciously and brutally hurt.
Her coworkers and colleagues viciously and brutally hurt. Again, were you there? Were you there were you there for what happened? You're in such full victim mode that you act as if nobody else was able to see everything that was happening since the beginning. Were you there for that? Or were you drinking a latte at the point? I don't understand. What? There's no way. There's no way that you are actually like this. I'm trying to understand. And keep in mind, this is the one who tried to call Akira Toriyama, racist on the day of his death. You guys remember that? You guys remember when Chris Kindred tried to call Akira Toriyama racist on the day of his death? For the way he depicted Mr. Popo? It's incredible. Again, I want you guys to understand something so you get the full context, because this is going to be a video clipped for Hypnotic Live. Chris Kindred. This is what started it all. Not only did he say, anyway, report the fuck out of this group. By the way, targeted harassment campaign, right? Not only did he do that, he couldn't stop there. He also said, report the creator since he loves his account so much. Again, look at Cabrutus's is level 63 on Steam. 13 years of service on Steam. 1,489 sessions. 60 new games. And that's just in 2023 alone. And he tried to get all of that removed. He tried to get all of that banned. So again, Kim Belair, when you say your employees got viciously attacked, you got viciously mocked, you're a piece of shit, because in front of this audience that you have right now, you are purposely not telling them, even though I'm sure most of them know and they're all putting their heads down, you're purposely not telling them how it started. We have evidence about how it started. This is why Alyssa Mercante is so hated, because she's doing the same exact thing that you're doing. You guys are lying through omission. You're choosing not to tell the full story, because if you do, you're going to go from victims to assaulted, like to people who are assaulting very quickly.
Felt bad for making a company at all. I felt bad for believing in it and for speaking on it.
Feel bad.
People would come up to me, especially at events, like I went to GDC, and they would very kindly tell me that they were inspired by me or by us and by our collective strength and our resilience. And I would say thank you so much, but deeply I would feel very ashamed.
Good. You should feel ashamed. And I know that's you doing that victim thing. Look at you. You probably worked on this narrative yourself, right? Since you're a narrative consultancy company, you probably worked on your own story. You're selling your story right now. You worked on SBI's own story from beginning to end, and you decided to sell it right now in this conference to the best of your ability. It's incredible.
Which intellectually I know is wrong, right? We are doing something good. We are writers and designers of tremendous skill and tremendous experience.
If you're doing something good, why are you hiding it?
And we've never censored anything, nor have we ever wanted to. Frankly, if you really want my opinion, I think largely games could be hornier. I think they should be darker. I think they should be stranger.
No, they're definitely darker. Atreus is gonna like this part. Damn, Atreus is gonna like this part. No, they're definitely darker. You got that part right. They're definitely darker, and yeah.
At the core of my approach here, and the approach that we take as a company, I genuinely believe that representation is not censorship, it is innovation. Diversity in narrative makes things more intense. It can make it more visceral and more real. It doesn't have to always make something more wholesome or so.
No, it doesn't. It literally doesn't, because some of the most believable and real stories we have ever seen in our entire lives that have gone down into the history books as known, loved stories have been made from the most non-diverse group of people out there. It could be all white, it could be all black, it could be all anything, but at the end of the day, it wasn't very diverse. But the stories that they told were told through a way that seemed very natural, very organic, and it was well written. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote some of the most diverse stories out there. But the problem is people like you look at stories like that and you call it not diverse because there isn't enough black people in it. Or you're angry that the only dark-skinned people that are in the story are bad people, right? Like the people of the Harad. You think that that is a bad thing. Again, this is the reason why stories of today will never stand the test of time like stories of yesterday. It's because they're not written with the same passion. They're not written with the same creativity. They are simply written for superficial diversity so people can feel something now instead of feeling something later.
Softer. I really do believe that by opening up to new perspectives, by getting folks in the room, we actually push more boundaries and we get more real. But what happens when you get harassed is it doesn't matter what you believe. What's also frustrating is that it doesn't matter what they believe either, because so much of this campaign is just misinformation. It's assumptions and lies about who we are, what we do, and what we want. We have worked on 80 games, as I said before, and I think that's pretty cool, but to them, it's something closer to 200. You know, we have our little fingers, our woke little fingers, in every pie in this industry. And that's the other thing that happens, right? They take away your power in some ways, but they also ascribe to you this enormous power. They will claim that you are rich, that you are backed by, shadowy cabals, government orgs. They claim you have the ability to force their favorite studios to bend to your whim rather than the truth, which is that studios and teams hire us to make stories better. Not woker, but actually better. And believe me, when this first started, I was so worried that studios would stop working with us. I worried we seemed...
Hold on. So, I'm sorry. Is it a conspiracy that we made up that Sweet Baby Inc. likes to terrorize marketing departments in order to force them to hire them? Is that a conspiracy we made up?